Okay, so the world feels kind of chaotic, right? Like more and more every single day. So, are you playing the right game? That's what we're digging into today. We're going to explore this really powerful framework for not just surviving all this, but actually thriving. We're talking about how to cultivate an adaptable mindset.
We spend so much time crafting these perfect 5-year plans, trying to build these, impenetrable walls around our lives. But what if we're playing the completely wrong game? What if the secret to thriving in all this chaos isn't about rigid plans, but something totally different?
And here it is, the simple but honestly profound truth for the world we live in right now. The world doesn't just reward the strongest or the smartest anymore. No, it rewards the most adaptable.
So let's get into it. We're going to talk about the new superpower, adaptability. And look, this isn't just another buzzword you hear thrown around. We're talking about a truly fundamental skill, really the new superpower for succeeding in the world today.
This really lays it out, doesn't it? The old rules versus the new reality. For generations, the thinking was simple, right? Be the strongest, be the smartest, and you'll win. But the new reality, it's a whole different ballgame. The rules have changed, and the people who come out on top are the ones who can change with them.
So you might be asking, why now? Why is this so important all of a sudden? Well, it's because the pace of change has just gone into overdrive. I mean, think about it. Entire careers can vanish. Poof, just like that. Markets shift on a dime with zero warning. And in all this chaos, the opportunities, they don't go to the people with the most detailed plans, they go to the ones who are flexible.
Okay, so this breakneck speed of change, it brings us right up against the biggest mental block that holds most of us back. It's this barrier we absolutely have to tear down if we want to move forward. And it's what we're calling the great myth of stability.
Seriously, let this one sink in. Stability, it's an illusion. It's just not real. That whole idea of a predictable career, a straight path through life, that's a relic of the past. Chasing it is kind of like trying to build a house of cards in the middle of an earthquake. It's just not going to work. And this is the question that keeps people stuck. How do I protect what I have? It's coming from a place of defense, a fear. You're just trying to hold on tight. But here's the crazy part. In a world that's always changing, that's the very thing that makes you rigid and, ironically, super fragile. Now let's flip that on its head. Check out the adaptable question. How do I stay flexible no matter what happens? See the difference? This is proactive. It's forward-looking. It just assumes change is going to happen. So the real question becomes, how do I bend without breaking? Or even better, how do I find an advantage in all this chaos? All right, so we've nailed down the problem and the right question we should be asking. So now let's get into the good stuff. Let's decode the solution, the adaptable mindset. What does this thing actually look like?
Okay, so at its heart, the adaptable mindset is basically a framework, a way of thinking that helps you flourish when things are uncertain. It's got nothing to do with predicting the future. No crystal balls here. It's all about redefining yourself faster than your circumstances change. I love this idea. It's like putting your own personal evolution on fast forward. And this isn't just some fuzzy, abstract idea. It's actually built on 3 really clear, actionable pillars. First, there's identity flexibility. That's all about who you are. Then, curiosity over control, which is about how you react. And finally, rapid feedback loops. And that's about what you do. So let's break each one down.
All right, pillar number 1, identity flexibility. So what does that mean? It means you don't get too attached to a job title. You're not just an accountant. Instead, maybe you see yourself as a problem solver who's really good with numbers. Your identity becomes more fluid, right? It allows you to shift and become whoever you need to be for the next challenge that comes your way. Okay, pillar 2 is curiosity over control. This one's huge. When things get crazy, a rigid mind tries to force everything back into order, back into its little box. But a curious mind, it leans in. It says, okay, this is interesting. What can I learn from this? Is there a way I can use this? And that right there is how you turn a threat into a genuine opportunity.
And that brings us to pillar 3, rapid feedback loops. This is all about action. It's the antidote to analysis paralysis, when you just overthink everything. The adaptable person, they take small, smart actions, they see what happens, they learn from it, and then they adjust. It's this powerful little cycle. Act, learn, repeat. That's how you find your way when you don't know what's coming next.
Okay, so that's the theory. That's the framework. But knowing this stuff is one thing. Actually living it is something else entirely. So the big question is, how do you train this? How do you build that adaptability muscle in your day-to-day life?
Well, it really comes down to 3 daily practices, stuff you can literally start doing today. First up, practice strategic discomfort. On purpose, do things that stretch you, that feel a little awkward. It just builds up your tolerance for the unknown. Second, detach from outcomes. Basically, fall in love with the process and the learning, not just winning or losing. This is what frees you up to try new things. And third, and this one is a total game changer, reframe failure. Failure is not the end. It's just data. It's information telling you what to try differently next time. Honestly, it's the most valuable feedback you could ever ask for.
So, what's the big payoff here? What happens when you make this mental shift? Well, it's something called the rich logic shift. And it's this fundamental change in how you see everything, the world, the opportunities, all of it.
And really, it all comes down to a choice. It's pretty simple when you lay it out like this. On one hand, you have comfort. And sure, comfort feels safe, but it's expensive. It costs you growth, it costs you relevance. On the other hand, you have adaptation. Yeah, it's hard work, but it's profitable. It pays you back with opportunity, with resilience, with real lasting success.
And that's the goal, right? The ultimate goal. It's not about trying to outrun change, because you can't. It's about speeding up your own personal evolution. Because if you can adapt faster than the world around you is changing, you pretty much become irrelevant-proof. You become future-proof.
So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. After everything we've just talked about, what is one belief you're holding on to? Maybe it's about stability, or your identity, or failure. What's one thing you might be ready to just let go of, starting today? Because that power to adapt, it's all yours.